Okay, everybody, good evening again. We're gonna do well, it's not gonna be a quick video. I wish it was a quick video, but it's gonna be a little bit of time to go over some of the stuff we're gonna talk about. We're gonna do a building video, and if you're new to Second Life, then you may not have jumped into the joys of building yet. So I came up here on the top of the hill on my island where it's a little more open and free and clear, and we can do some of this stuff. You go to your build menu at the top, click on it, select Build Tool, and just choose any of these to open, but you might just go ahead and go to Create Tool because that's where you always want to start. You see lots of shapes. You choose a shape. You highlight one of them, either a cylinder or a square or something like that, and you can just drop it on the ground and boom, you have created a prim, and its name is Object. Okay, and right now it's really kind of boring. We can close that menu and look at it, and it's just a wood block. It comes with that standard automatic texture on it. I'm going to bring our lights up a little bit here midday. There it is. Check that out. It's just a block. Not very exciting. But here's where you can start playing around with things. Okay, go in here and you default into move, and you can move this thing around here manually using the arrows. You can also stretch manually. Corner boxes are white, and then your other fields and planes have different color boxes. You can do cool stuff like that. You can go in and change this texture real quick. Just pull up something. I don't know. You can search for it. We'll search up sand, and we'll pull up a sand texture that's probably built in. You probably all have one. We can change its color, and boom, we have a red sand box. But now here's the cool thing. You can tell right now that it's just a box, and it's dealing with light in the sim like a box would. There's a shadowed side and more lighted sides depending on their orientation to the source of light in the sim or the sun. If you want to, when you got your edit menu open, you can play with a lot of things here, including select face allows you to choose one face at a time and change the texture or the color on that one. So now we have a gray side on our red cube. But go in, right click on it and choose edit again. Play with full bright. Full bright will light it up so that it is not dependent on the light source within the sim where it is. So you see we don't have a side that's darker than another as far as the red sides go because they're self-lit. Another fun thing to do when we're talking about light is go into the Features tab, which it was forever until I ever did anything with the Features tab, and choose light, and you'll have now not only is it self-lit itself, but you'll see that it gives off light into the world. So we're going to go back into midnight a little bit. See how the light is shining on the ground around me here a little bit. If I pick it up, then you'll see a little bit of the field of light there, and you can walk away from it and look over at it, and then okay, yeah, you see that that corner of my hilltop is lit up because it is actually emanating light. This is how you can make lighting for your home if you don't want to buy a lamp, or if you're feeling creative and you want to create a lamp. It's super easy. Blank out the texture, go to white color, put it on full bright, have the light on, and shazam, you have a very bright kind of fluorescent box, and it's giving off light. That's always fun to do. Now, of course, I mean, no one has a lamp that's just a big cube, so we'll work with it a little bit to talk about linking objects. Okay, so let's pull it over here. Let's stretch it down a little bit. When you make an object, when you build, if you're building a house, I mean, we always tend to jump in and try to build big things at first, but we don't even really have to. We have our little square light bulb there. Let's go back over to the Create menu here. That's your magic wand at the top, and we can make a cylinder. Boom, drop it there. We'll bring it into stretch. And we can make a pillar, and you know, we can darken it up a little bit, put a nice brown color on that texture. Then we can move this box over to it, and look, we have an outdoor light. Okay, now I know as lamps go, that's not all that exciting, but check it out. I mean, a lot of people have these kinds of garden lamps in their house, right? Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to bring this up. You can use these colored lines to do some positioning. I mean, basically we want it in the center, so when the blue line's in the center, yeah, there we can drop it down, and boom. Now we have a cool little garden walkway lamp, okay? So, I'm not very satisfied with that as a lamp, but let's pretend that I was. I want to be able to keep it and pull it out later or drop several around, so I can choose one object of the two, and then when I hold the shift down and click on another object, you'll see that they're both selected. Up in the build menu, choose link, and now you have a 2-prim single object. Over here in the menu you'll see number of objects 1 prims 2. That's because you took 2 prims, you made them 1 object. Now when you go in to edit that in general, you can give it a name. We can call this ugly lamp. Now next time I click on it, let me see general. Oh, why didn't that name take? I don't know. There it is, ugly lamp. Sweet. Now I can take this back, and if I ever want to play with it again, it's really easy to find in my inventory, as happens to be in my recent right now, but I can search ugly or search lamp, and there it is. Which leads us to, once you're creating objects, once you're linking objects together, it means that you are making a bona fide project. And the worst thing in the world to do is to work on a project and then just take it or something and it comes back named object, and then you have to sort through all the junk in your inventory named object to find it again, or you delete it or something happens. So that's a bummer. So whenever we talk about linking, we always want to talk about naming objects and taking copies. And if you're a beginning budding builder in Second Life, you're probably going to end up going to a public sandbox to do your building. And nothing can be more frustrating than being totally surrounded by a bunch of people at a public sandbox, watching you build, getting your stuff mixed up with theirs. They walk up and greet you and they bug you and stuff like that. I mean, if you're looking for friends and that's why you're at the sandbox, then it's great. But if you're not, if you're like really seriously wanting to build, then it can really bug you. So a couple of quick projects for a sandbox. All right, we're going to go up here again to build, select build tool. We're going to choose create. We're going to make a cylinder. Alright, so boom, here's a cylinder. Now you can stretch it and resize it using the little colored boxes when you edit, or go to object and begin to play with some of these XYZ settings for position, for size, and rotation. You'll find rotating can be seriously crazy. You can rotate things here manually with this menu, but sometimes it's easier to go in, like if you want to really straighten it up, you got to put in 0x rotation. If you just want to flip something 90, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, play with it and get to know those things. And what we'll do is we'll go into the size and we'll start changing to 10 and to 10 and to 10. Okay, boom, and suddenly we have this ginormous big old cylinder to mess with. Okay, pick it all up over the ground. Now, right now we can't do much with that. Alright, it's just a great big old cylinder, and here I am beside it. Alright, but let's say I'm at a public sandbox and I want to try on some new clothes I bought, or tinker around with something little that I built. We're going to take this big old 10-meter cylinder, and on the same object tab, we're going to use the hollow menu. Any object can be hollowed only to 95% is the highest, so we're going to put 95. And now if we take our view up above, you'll see, oh, it's a hollow tube. Now it's a great big old toilet paper tube. Okay, but look, what can I do with it? I can jump or fly into it, but basically I just, I bump against it. Same tab, highlight it, choose Phantom. Alright, now I've got, boom, my own private dressing room. Now true, anybody else can walk through that phantom wall. So once I'm inside, if I want to, I can go back to edit and turn phantom off, and I can have myself trapped in here and stuff. But needless to say, you can give yourself there's no real privacy in Second Life, but you can give yourself a much more complete illusion of privacy in Second Life by doing something like this. So run with it, enjoy it. You can change the texture so that your background looks like whatever you need it to look like to help you build, or change your clothes in here, and you're not naked or half naked on a public sandbox trying to do something. Now, if you want to keep your dressing room, go ahead and give it a name. Okay, so we'll call this Swirly's dressing room. Okay. And when I take it, I don't just take another thing back in my inventory called object that I can't tell the difference between different things. It'll be Swirly's dressing room, and if I ever need it, I'll just pull it right out of my inventory with a quick and easy search. Now, another thing about being at a public sandbox to build, it can get frustrating when people are coming in and out and around you and talking and doing different things and distracting you. So you can go ahead and create with a little manipulation of linking objects and changing those XYZ values. You can make your own private building platform on a public sandbox, and here's how you do it. let's say you happen to have some mega prims. Now, you don't have mega prims when you come into Second Life, but if you have a good friend who has some mega prims, they can share them with you. You may have noticed, or you will notice when you begin building, the largest you can put any of your values on objects you create are 10 meters. So any cube is only 10 by 10 by 10. Any platform is only 10 by 10. 10 by 10 anything. Pyramids, blocks, spheres. 10 meters is your limit, unless somebody gets you a mega prim. Mega prims are cool because they'll be much bigger. I'm going to search my inventory for 20 because I know I have a nice handy 20 by 20 by 1/4 meter platform. Now, mega prims are handy. They do get kind of weird sometimes when you're using them. You cannot resize them, so don't try to resize them. If you try to resize them, they will shrink to the 10 by 10 limit, okay? You can hollow them. You cannot stretch, but you can hollow. And that's really cool if you want to build something big with a hole in the middle or make a doorway or a window or something. So you can hollow them out. But here I've got a 20 by 20. I'll bring my lights back up here real quick. I've got a 20 by 20 platform. Okay, that's real cool. Now, I'm going to go ahead and also build myself a little chair to sit on. That's real easy. I mean, basically, I'm just going to drop a cylinder on top of this big platform. Now, while it's highlighted, I press Shift and click on the platform, and now I've got a two prim thing here. They are linked together, okay? My platform and my little cylinder there. I'm going to link them, and boom. Now, I've got a 2 prim 1 object. I'm going to go ahead and sit on the cylinder. Now look at me. Check me out. I am sitting on the cylinder on my platform. They're linked together. Now I'm going to go to Object, and I'm going to choose Position, okay? X and Y, those are your lateral positions. Z is your height. I am 56.813 meters above the bottom of the sim. I can change that to a maximum of 4,096. I don't want to go that high. I'm just going to change it to 500. Boom. Now, I am 500 meters in the sky. Oh, look, I have more stuff here. I forgot. Hang on. Let me go a little higher than that. Let's go to, I don't think I have anything at 900 meters. Boom. Now, see, look at me. I'm way up in the sky on my platform. And I have privacy. Now I can build to my heart's content. Now, you probably don't have mega prims if you're new to Second Life. So come and look me up, and I'll give you some mega prims. I'll drop you a 20 by 20 or a 50 by 50 platform. And here's the trick too. Don't forget about naming things. This is my building platform. Right now it's named Object. I don't want it named Object. I want it to be Swirly's Test Building Platform. Okay? Now, the next time I take it, it goes back into my inventory with a name other than Object. That means the next time I want it, it's pretty easy to find. Oh, look, all this other stuff. I need to get rid of all that junk. I need to clean up my airspace. So, here I am. This is one of my building platforms that I like to use. I've got a nice grid on it so that I can lay things out nice and square. Here's another one of my building platforms where I build Sculpey objects and things and play with them and have a lot of fun. Look for your public sandboxes. They tend to have like a 4-hour auto return or something for your objects, but it's a fun place to play. And if you keep your object named, then it's really easy to just go back into inventory and pull it back out. I want my Swirly's Test Building Platform, and boom, there it is. And I'm back on it. And of course I can play with it and give it different textures and things. They're linked together, so when I change the texture, it's going to change both of them. And there we are. It's my pink building platform. Because you never know when you're going to need a pink building platform. Okay, that's my intro to building. Basically, I wouldn't try to tell you everything to do. Because it's up to you to go learn this stuff and play with it and get good at it. So have fun and give me a ring in Second Life if you're ever looking for a mega prim for building. See ya.